Hello friends, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel, where we hear together the Daily Reflection. On Tuesday of the first week of Lent, the readings remind us that God's Word is alive and active. Just as rain gives life to the earth, His Word gives life to our hearts. When we listen and trust, God's Word changes how we think, speak, and act. It brings growth that lasts. This day in Lent helps us remember that prayer is more than saying words. Jesus teaches us how to pray with meaning and trust. The Lord's Prayer shows what matters most: honoring God, seeking His will, asking for what we need, and forgiving others. These words shape us to live with love and peace. On Tuesday of the first week of Lent, we also hear a message of hope. God listens to those who call out to Him. He stays close to the brokenhearted and delivers those in trouble. Lent is a time to open our hearts again, to let God's Word take root, and to trust that His promises never fail. In the first reading from Isaiah, God promises that His Word will always achieve what He desires. This message shows His faithfulness to His covenant and His power to bring about renewal. Just as rain brings life to the earth, God's Word brings spiritual growth to His people. During Tuesday of the first week of Lent, this passage reminds us that God's promises bring hope and restoration. Isaiah's theme of redemption and return speaks to a people who once felt distant from God, but are now called back to life through His living Word. Now, what about the responsorial psalm from Psalm 34? Psalm 34 celebrates God's care for those who seek Him. It comes from a time of personal distress and expresses gratitude for deliverance. The psalmist invites everyone to taste and see God's goodness, highlighting that trust and humility lead to peace. On Tuesday of the first week of Lent, this psalm fits the season's focus on turning back to God. It reminds believers that God listens to the brokenhearted and stays close to the just, themes central to the psalm's message of faith and trust in the Lord. Now let's look at today's Gospel from Matthew. In Matthew's Gospel, Jesus teaches about true righteousness in the Sermon on the Mount. He contrasts sincere faith with empty rituals, showing that prayer is about relationship, not performance. His example, the Lord's Prayer, centers on God's holiness, forgiveness, and care for daily needs. For Tuesday of the first week of Lent, this reading calls disciples to genuine communication with God and forgiveness toward others, connects to Matthew's larger themes of the kingdom of heaven, right living, and the mercy that defines followers of Christ. Both readings for Tuesday of the first week of Lent invite us to reflect on the power of God's Word, the meaning of prayer, and the importance of trusting in God's plan. They remind us that God's Word nourishes and guides us, prayer connects us with Him, and faith calls us to trust His promises. In the first reading for Tuesday of the first week of Lent, Isaiah describes the effectiveness of God's Word. Just as rain and snow nourish the earth and help it produce fruit, God's Word accomplishes its purpose. It does not return empty, but fulfills the mission for which it was sent. This reminds us that God's Word is alive and active in the world. It works to guide, teach, and inspire us to grow in faith. When we listen to His Word and take it to heart, it can change us and lead us to a closer relationship with Him. Isaiah's message challenges us to trust in the power of God's Word in our own lives. It assures us that God's promises are reliable and that His plans are always fulfilled. Our role is to receive His Word with an open heart and let it shape our actions and choices. Today's Gospel of Matthew reminds us that prayer is not about using many words or repeating them meaninglessly. Jesus teaches that prayer is a personal and sincere conversation with God who already knows our needs. It is an opportunity to build a deeper connection with our Creator. Through the Lord's Prayer, Jesus provides a simple yet meaningful way to pray. This prayer acknowledges God's holiness, asks for His guidance, and seeks forgiveness and protection. It helps us focus on God's will and reminds us to trust in His care. This passage encourages us to approach prayer with honesty and humility. It invites us to speak to God from our hearts, knowing that He listens and responds. Prayer is a way to strengthen our faith and find peace in His presence. A shared theme in the readings for Tuesday of the first week of Lent is trust in God. Isaiah highlights the certainty that God's Word will fulfill its purpose. While Jesus teaches us to pray with confidence, knowing that God already understands our needs, both readings remind us to rely on God's plan, rather than our own efforts. God's word and guidance are constant and dependable, even when we face uncertainties. Prayer becomes an act of trust, where we ask for His help and align our desires with His will. Remember also that in this Lenten season, prayer is one of the 3 pillars that are crucial to be applied during Lent, besides fasting and almsgiving. These lessons call us to let go of worry and doubt, trusting in God's care and faithfulness. By placing our confidence in Him, we can find hope and direction in every situation. As we reflect on these teachings, let us open our hearts to God's Word and approach Him in prayer with trust and sincerity. May we allow His guidance to shape our actions and grow in faith through our relationship with Him. This is a very important moment to ponder and reflect these questions in our lives. How can you make more time to listen to God's Word in your life? In what ways can your prayer life become more honest and meaningful? What helps you trust in God's plan, even during uncertain times? How can you let God's Word shape your decisions and actions? Let's end our session today with a simple prayer. Dear Lord, your Word brings life and strength to our hearts. Help us to listen to you and trust in your guidance. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope this daily reflection can be useful for you as we are starting the day today. This Lent, let's consider how we can live out this call from God to pray more. May God bless you and your families throughout this Lenten season. I look forward to journeying with you again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more reflections. Peace be with you. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and healthy as usual. See you next time, and God bless you always.